Hey everyone, welcome to the Immich Q&A live stream. We are going to be talking about Immich joining FUTO and answering questions from the community. It's been quite the journey for Immich over the past 2 years, and the community has been a huge part of that. I'm Zach, and here with me today is Erin Wolf, founder and software author at FUTO, Lewis Rossman, as well as Alex and Jason from the Immich team. I'm sure most of you haven't heard of FUTO or Erin before our announcement, so I'll hand over to Erin so he can talk a little about FUTO and their mission.
Yeah, so I'm Aaron Wolf. I started FUTO. The idea behind FUTO was just, I was a software, and I still am a software, developer who likes building consumer apps. I built Yahoo Games way back in the day, and kind of have done it over the years. And there, I've always considered it my job to make great software, as somebody who can program. And a kind of thing that always bugged me about Silicon Valley was that we can't, there wasn't the market incentives were not as aligned as well as they should have been towards creating great software. I mean, we can go into tons of detail on this, but basically the mission of FUTO is to kind of give engineers the environment that I think should exist for them to create great software for people that has no hidden agenda, that's a very honest relationship with your customers, and so that's what FUTO is. And then Lewis has been helping us at FUTO for almost 2 years, I think 2 years now.
Yeah.
And more than 2 years. And Lewis found Immich, and it seemed like, wow, these guys are like, they're doing great work in their free time. Like, imagine how great it would be if they actually can focus on this product full time the way they should be able to. I mean, they all had, I don't want to disparage their former employers, but they were not the best. They were the hidden agenda kind of software. So I'm really happy that they're going to be able to focus on making Immich great for the people. So that's this is hopefully an informal thing. So we can just kind of, I don't want to take too much time.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, this is a big change for us at Immich, and we understand some of you have concerns with us joining FUTO. So we want to address those questions directly. This came about a few months ago when an account called Lewis Rossman joined our Discord and started messaging us about an opportunity to partner with a company called FUTO to get funding for the project and work on Immich full time. We all knew who Lewis was, but thought this was a scam until we checked out his linked accounts and saw his YouTube account with 2 million subscribers verified on Discord. So after chatting with Lewis, we realized that this was a great opportunity for Immich, and our values and goals aligned perfectly with FUTO's. So Lewis, what made you decide that Immich was a project worth your time and FUTO's investment?
I'm kind of selfish. I use Nextcloud, and I don't really have to explain to you how even if you have an i7 14700K, how you'll see 15 processes take 100% CPU because I'm scrolling 3 pages. And then I tried this, and it's like, this is actually good. And I just kept looking through. I'm like, okay, where are the bugs? Where's the catch? Where does it suck? And it doesn't suck. It just does the job. Most Android phones nowadays don't come with a micro SD card slot. The ones that do come with a micro SD card slot don't allow me to actually run an operating system of my choice. They often have locked bootloaders. So if I want to get access to all my pictures, I either have to pay quadruple for a phone that has mildly more storage, which I'm just mentally incapable of doing even if I can afford it, just because I know why you took the micro SD card slot away. Or I can use software that makes me so miserable that I'd rather just not show photos to my friend than actually sit there for 20 minutes while my Nextcloud server is freezing. And this actually works. And what you were doing is you're making good software. It works. There's no trackers. There's no ads. If I search for cat on chair, I can actually find pictures from 8 years ago of my cat sitting on a chair. And one of the main problems that I see right now is it's not even that there's software out there that's expensive. It's if you want stuff like this, fundamentally, there's no choice, because the entire community has chosen this model of, I am okay with having software that's injected with ads and junk, or I'm okay being in Apple's closed ecosystem. So the problem is, for a lot of people that want software like this, even if you're willing to pay, there is no option. So we want to make software that has no ads, no trackers. We want to have software that is genuinely better than what Apple or Google are offering. And in my opinion, you're already offering that. I find this to be genuinely better than Google Photos. So if that's our mission, like, why not give money to this and try to make it into, like, have you guys work on it full time, and then make really like get all the bugs and kinks out, whatever they are, so that this actually can be an experience where I can hand this application to my stepmom and she could have a way to run this with, and options to run it where you're not doing Docker pull whatever. Like when I tell my stepmom that, oh, like there's a boat, and it's like I can't explain, like I can't explain Docker to my mom. She's 70 years old. She has a ball mouse. She has like one of the only USB ball mice, and she every morning she takes her compressed air and her Q-tip, and she's like, what are you doing with this? Let me buy you a laser. And she's like, but this still works. Like I'm just not going to get her to use some, she uses Google Photos because why not? I want this to be a piece of software where my stepmom can use this without requiring me as a server administrator. And admittedly, just the selfish point of I want something that's not Nextcloud on my phone.
Cool. Yeah, so as well as Lewis and Aaron, we have Alex here. Who you want to do a quick intro?
Yeah, so yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Alex. Kind of the benevolent dictator of Immich, and it's all come from my wife request one day, hey, why don't you build me a Google Photos, because I don't want to pay for Google Photos anymore, and I always like to tinker and to build things on my free time. So I take this opportunity, to build something useful for my wife. It's okay, yeah, I'm gonna build you one, and the rest is history. So with that being said, now I have a really great team, and then I got to join a really cool opportunity here to work for Iran and to work with Lewis. So there's nothing better than to have your dream come true, and I'm really excited to to share this journey with you all, and with the team here. So
Cool. And Jason, do you want to do a quick intro?
Sure. I'm Jason, and I started working with Alex and Zach probably like a year and a half ago. But this is the first open source project I've contributed to, but it's been really cool because the community's great. Like contributing on this project has been like very fun to work on. I also like Aaron, a programmer. I like making software that works well and like has the features I want in it. And so I have a photo collection. I've been looking for something like this for a long time, and then Alex posts on Reddit, and I follow the project, and then he said like what the tech stack was. It's like what I use in my work every day, and I was like, oh wow, like this is a perfect opportunity for me to do open source for a project I care about and need to use in my own personal life. And then it's just been a really fun project to contribute to, and yeah, it's like a great community. It's a great thing to work on, and I've been pretty excited and happy to work on it. The problem I have normally is like spending too much time doing it, so yeah, it's kind of cool now I get to do it full time because that's what I wanted to do for a while now. So
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I'm Zach. Also been part of the core team for like 2 years. So yeah, I think we've done plenty of talking. I don't think so. I think let's get started with the questions. So yeah, the first question with like 200 and something votes, which is crazy, is how does FUTO intend to fund Immich? Will there be monetization, and if so, in what form?
All right, so that's kind of a three-pronged question. So there's how do we immediately intend to fund it, and what are the two funding methods later? So the first funding method, we've committed to millions of dollars over a course of several years in contract, and that is from Aaron's money from investments and everything else. He has the money to fund that immediately. The two other prongs of how we want to make money off of this are A, getting people to buy software, and B, if people think that Docker is a boat, essentially they to be able to pay for a cloud hosted solution where they can just, like sign up, pay a certain amount of money a month and not have to worry about making their own servers. So like one person asked over here, can someone make a tutorial for how to get this set up? I want to use it so bad, but I am just new to this. Again, like they're like people like my mom that think that docking is for a boat and not for, a self-hosted container that is a better way of doing things in a virtual machine. I want her to be able to pay like $5 to $20 a month and have somebody else deal with this. So when it comes to monetization, you may wonder, well, this software is open source. It's AGPL, I believe. It's age. So like, what do you mean charge for it? And this is why this is what we're trying to do here. Yes, the software, it's very similar to what Richard Stallman has said, is I will pay for any software on earth as long as it's free. And, he's talking about there is essentially like, I'll pay for stuff, but as long as I can see the source code and I have some freedom with it. So yes, if you want to use this software, technically there are no DRM. There's no trackers. The source code is right there. But we are asking people to pay for it. And we're not calling it a donation because we don't want it to seem like charity. Again, we are spending millions and millions of dollars on the development of the software. We want people to be able to put a full-time level of development in. And if you use the software, again, like there's no way for me to tell that you're using this for free. There's no way for you to limit. There's no way for me to limit you in any way. But we are asking people to pay for it. And we want to figure this out. This is an experiment for us. As I said, fundamentally, there's no choices for a lot of different pieces of software if you want to get out of Google or Apple's ecosystem. There's fundamentally no choice. You're going to either be spied on or you're going to have, a device that's essentially completely locked down and you're at the mercy of Tim Cook. We're doing an experiment. If we create something that's good, that doesn't abuse you, that's better than their solution, are you open to paying for it? And that's essentially the monetization strategy. If you want to, comment on that at all.
I mean, yeah, this is the way things used to be. I mean, it was Yahoo who actually started developing the software model of the user is actually the product you're delivering to the advertiser, and so that's how most software is developed these days. That for in the consumer space, there's no way we're gonna like our software. In my opinion, our software sucks now. Like it's worse than it was 20 years ago. And I mean, we have like a lot cooler tech for the internet and stuff, but like in terms of like just like scrolling around and stuff, it's just buggy and stuff. So, the only way I see to get this software good is like we do have Google and Facebook and Apple dominating. And the only way to get the software good is if we can get to a model where there's an honest relationship between people making software. So I don't want just FUTO to be doing this. I want everybody to be doing this. You make software that's good, you spend time on it, and there's no hidden agenda in the software. Like pretty much every other piece of software you use, there's a hidden agenda. No, it's just like, you do like the software, great, pay for it, done. Like, that's it.
FUTO seems heavily involved and invested in blockchain. Is Immich going to be changing this way? What if we don't want to be associated with crypto, blockchain, etc.?
That's on you.
I don't know where you got this. Where you got this impression. Like, we also don't want to be associated with crypto, blockchain, etc. We certainly we certainly like people using their we don't want cryptocurrency to be banned, and we love people doing what they want with their computers. And I actually do have a respect for Bitcoin and things. Like, it's a cool protocol, but that whole area has turned into a total shit show. With lots of grifting going on, and so we're just avoiding it. We're using Stripe for our payments, which is kind of sad. But like we always want to be agnostic about cryptocurrency. We're never going to be showing a coin. Don't worry. Like, that's a dishonest relationship. That most people in cryptocurrency have dishonest relationships with the people that they're getting money from. We want to have an honest relationship with you, which means we will not be showing a crypto token.
I like the answer you gave in the office the other day better, if you want to. I have 100% approve of you giving that answer.
I forgot what it was.
What the fuck made you think that?
What the fuck made you think this?
Yeah, like it's literally, it's essentially,
I mean,
it's on our website.
Kind of like, this is like, yeah, it is kind of important because, yeah, I do want to, like, this is a real question. Like, why would you think this? Like, what are we doing wrong that made you think this? Like, we did something wrong because it's totally against everything we believe in here at FUTO.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the website. Like, we don't want crypto agnostic and no shitcoins.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm reading the chats. That whoever asked that question might not be here, or maybe they're just like
staying quiet.
Staying quiet.
Aaron, what can you tell the people who believe this is probably going to ruin this amazing project on the long run? Would you put out an official statement about no ad data miners or paid features?
That's on our website already.
Yeah,
so essentially, one of the 5 pillars of it is
Yeah, I mean, we have the official statements. Like, I don't know, we can't probably do more than we've already done there in terms of, like, this is actually very important to me. you know, in Silicon Valley, you see acquisitions happen all the time, and like, you know, you can look at just there's those graveyards of acquisitions that happen at companies like Yahoo that I was at. I was an acqui-hire at Yahoo, and you know, things went really well for about a year, and then, you know, yeah, things suck, and you know, I think the important thing here is a safety valve, and the safety valve when something goes wrong is that this is all open source, and you know, everybody can kind of like, if FUTO starts screwing things up, even if you can't use the Immich trademark, you can, like, you see this all the time in the open source community, like things fork and like they rebrand or whatever. So like, you know, it's very important to me to do no harm. Um, and I am aware of these problems that can happen. Like I think, you know, I've spent a very large portion of my time thinking about this very problem, about how do companies destroy their acquisitions, and like how to stop that from happening. So, you know, we're going to work really hard to make sure that doesn't happen here.
Yeah, I wouldn't see us putting out an official statement for Immich, because it would imply that Immich is in some way an exception to everything else. So I would, like, we have a statement out that essentially says one of the 5 pillars is no ads, no data mining, no DRM. That doesn't apply to Immich. That applies to anything that we grant money to, anything we invest in. Like, anything that we do, we fundamentally cannot have that. If anything, if any of the software that we work on has that, it would be a means to just kick it out altogether. So it wouldn't be a statement for Immich. It's just a statement in general, company-wide. And like, as he said, you know, there was a lot of thought put into why it is, you know, we're asking you to trust this brand name based on the fact that you don't have to trust the brand name. Like I don't, you know, it gets like FFmpeg, libav, OpenOffice, LibreOffice. If you ever see ads in the software, which you won't, like, you know, fork.
What conditions did FUTO set? Will you still be able to accept donations from other people? Will they own the source code?
So the conditions, yeah, again, the 5 pillars that we talked about, it must be open source. You must be allowed, if there's anything that's client server, you have to be allowed to host your own server. That's non-negotiable. So we can't like make a cloud instance and then say you can't own your own server. That's bullshit. The third is no shitcoins, no cryptocurrency stuff involved in there. If you do cryptocurrency, it has to be like crypto agnostic. You can't make your own coin and then only accept payment in it. If you want to take payment, you know, we use Stripe, so any credit card. And if you want it, like if we were to implement cryptocurrency in the future, if they want to, it has to be something where you're accepting, like, you know, the range of them, not just your own coin that you make. No ads, no trackers, no spyware, no the customer is the product as a business model, and above all, again, this is the reason that I found it. After using Nextcloud, it can't suck. So those are the 5 conditions that are set. Those are Aaron's pillars that he told me about when he first contacted me in 2020, before they were kind of official. That's what you were going for. Those 5 have to be followed, not just for them, but for everyone, and they were obviously doing that already. So there. And in terms of donations, we're really just kind of asking people to, I believe that you guys suspended it at that point. We're paying, I think Aaron's committed to a mildly higher amount than what was coming in before from donations, to put it mildly. So, you know, like they're like several $1 million already. So like that was, and when it comes to owning source code, like I'll let Aaron answer that one.
I mean, this is like the ownership of source code in this area without CLAs is complicated. We own their source code, and that's the way, you know, it is. Like it's complicated though, and honestly, I don't think a lot of these things have even really been worked out completely legally. So, you know, we're basically going on the premise that you know, we own the source code for Immich, and you know, pay us to use it, but you know, but still a commitment to being open and, you know, reproducible builds, all that stuff that are important.
We've talked a lot about like what it means for Immich joining FUTO, and like what's changing, what's not changing. But I guess one of the things we probably could maybe just wrap up with, one of the things that is changing is like we have a few full-time developers working on Immich, so presumably things are going to get done faster. And one of the things we've been working on this trip at least is like coming up with the roadmap for Immich and like some of the things we want to achieve in the like near future. Like the most obvious one is like going stable, and like what are the steps to get there. So I don't know, maybe Alex can talk about like what this means for the Immich team going forward, and maybe some of the things that we've talked about doing, some of the goals we have, and maybe after that we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think the big thing is so now we get to work on this full time. It means that we can dedicate our full attention to Immich to make it better, pushing out more features and fixing more bugs. And also another change thing is that the mental health overall of the core team gonna be better, is because we don't feel burnout of working, basically similar to working two jobs. And yeah, and like just make the software overall better and give the community the support that it needs. Yeah, I think that's what make great software, right? Great support, great software.
And also, this isn't on the list, but just since I saw it there, and I think it's a good one from an engineering point of view, is encryption on your mind. There are less good software apps offering encryption. Yeah, like one of the Aaron's beliefs is like, don't compromise or ruin a product to try to implement something like that. Like have it as a separate product if you want to. Like, so we like Circles is the application that if you care about that over the features that Immich offers and admittedly over the loading speed that Immich offers, that is its own separate product. We wouldn't want to try to you don't want to try to like cram a triangle into a circle there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just wave a magic wand and say, oh, it has encryption now, or even you can't even just invest money and have encryption all of a sudden. It's a trade-off. Like, and when we're saying encryption here, we're talking about where if somebody steals your computer at home, they don't have access to your photos. So you could build something so that there's like it's end-to-end encrypted, whatever. And you lose a lot of features with that, because you need to do all this analysis of the data on the server. So you just can't, you're going to lose features if you add that encryption feature there. And like Lewis said, if you care about that aspect, we have the Circles product. So use Circles, and in that situation, you don't have to worry where your photos are being hosted. Nobody has access to them except you with your private key on your phone.
Yeah, it's like, when we create, let's say a cloud service for that versus this, if your idea is, listen, I can't feel comfortable with that without end-to-end encryption, we can't, I'm not going to get a 400 millisecond load time searching for cat on chair in Circles, but you do get end-to-end, you do have more encryption features with that. It's designed with security in mind for the ground up, so that should be its own product. And for me, my compromise is I just have, when I install Debian for my server, I just tell it to encrypt the disk. So if somebody steals my computer, they unplug it, good luck getting access to it anyway. But
I think it's the most important one.
Yep.
We yeah, I mean, Aaron literally
We just
spoke
talked about
it
this yesterday. Yeah.
So he suggested it without us even prompting. So we do want to do merch.
Yeah,
at
we have to
some
do it
point.
for all of our stuff.
Yeah.
We need more merch. We need a merch store.
Yeah.
Yeah. As crass as that is, no, we need it.
I have a few catchphrases available.
I'm open to lending the Mr. Clinton trademark over.
I can give you one right here. I have 99 problem, but my privacy ain't one.
Can we share some future features? Looking forward to something like a baked-in duplicate photo finder, auto add face to albums, fine-tuning machine learning features, and maybe highlight videos.
Yes. To all those.
Yeah.
I think the duplicate photo finder is in the works, almost the server piece is at least almost done. UI is work in progress. Auto add face to albums is another one that's currently in the works. There's a bigger kind of way we're thinking of doing that would add options for a lot of other custom rules and stuff. So that's something we've talking about and it's in the works. Fine-tuning machine learning features. I think there's already a bunch of stuff you can do in that regard, and we'll probably add a few more things in the future.
Yeah, the duplicate photo finder, I think one of the unspoken sixth pillar of FUTO software is if Nextcloud has it as a feature, they have to have it better. So Nextcloud has a duplicate finder already. So
is this your own personal pillar list now?
Yeah. If Nextcloud has it, if Nextcloud Photos has it, it must be better here. So yeah, a deduplicator would be interesting.
All right, so you want a deduplicator. What's off your personal list? What's your top thing that you want to build?
I
One
think
thing.
it's gonna be the automation workflow. So it's what Jason said, that we work about that. Basically, we can give you rules. So maybe when a photo is uploaded, then you can create a custom rule that it get added into an album with this person in the album, or maybe send a webhook somewhere. So we want to make it really versatile so that eventually it can be built into a plugged-in system in the future. And
Cool.
What
Uh,
about you, Zach? What's your most wanted features?
Yeah, I think we've all got like a really long list of things we want to add. But I think like, I think I've said this every time, but like, I think this doesn't come until we have like a stable image. But I really want to add like federation so that you can have like your image instance and like someone else's image instance. And eventually when cloud like comes, like cloud can integrate as well. And then you have like an album, for example, that has all your photos from your server and like your friend's server, and you can all add them, but they live on the individual servers, and it's all like one like harmonious image, like federated cluster basically. So yeah, that's kind of like my like big like long-term like plan. Jason, what feature would you like to do next? What you'd like to build next?
Sure, right. That question. Mine's not quite as big as your federation feature, but one thing I want is to get a notification when pictures are added to an album, or like when my partner takes pictures, I want to be notified that there's new pictures available. So, I mean, I think it's in there now, but we haven't released it. There's like an email integration. So when you sign up, you can get an email. And I think we have like some of those building blocks in place so we can expand in the future to where like when certain events happen or an album shared with you, maybe you can get an email. Also like mobile notifications for like, yeah, when pictures are added. So like I have some stuff I want to see happen in the notification space when it comes to image and like different events in the system. So yeah, that's something I might spend some time on in the near future.
And so this is an unofficial question, but I think it's a really important opportunity for Aaron to say one of the main things he believes in. It seems like you're throwing away money with no plan for profitability. And again, just like fundamentally the idea that there is no plan, like it is open source, how that, like, of course there's no profitability. That I think is a fundamental problem with the culture. You have a lot of open source software that gets 75 to 80% of what it needs, and it never gets the rest. Like, I could use audio plugins and video editing software from 2002. I can't use audio plugins in Kdenlive in 2024. Like we want open source software to be something where it's not considered by default. Wait, what do you mean? You're spending money on development? Of course you're not going to make money. That's a fundamental problem with the culture. And it's why we're to the point where you literally don't have a choice for certain verticals to get something that doesn't suck unless you want to just be spied on, tracked, or be stuck in Apple's ecosystem. And like one of the things that drives us nuts is that there are projects where even if it is open source and free, the simple act of saying, would you pay for it? There are certain people that frown upon that in this kind of communistic way. Like you're literally not even allowed to ask for money. Like how dare you ask for money to feed your family or pay your rent while you're producing software that millions of people use? And like, I think that I find it detestable, and I think Aaron does too. But this is one of the main things that you've discussed, and I really think it would be great to have your input on it.
Kind of like the attitude of like, I do think there's, well, are you talking about kind of the fact that big tech has abused people for so long that they just don't trust anything, any kind of free market solution?
Just like the attitude in open source that if you even ask for somebody to pay for the software, there are people out there that will actually get mad at you for that, even if it's AGPL.
And I do think that is. I think the people who get triggered by people asking to get paid are like, they've been abused by big tech monopolies for so long. They might not even remember a time when like the free market was working properly, that they just have an instinctive distrust of any time people mention free market. We're going for I want the free market to work. Like and if it's that's what we're going for. If you disagree, if you think all software should be owned by the commons, it's okay. It's okay for you to try to do that, but don't bother us, is what I would say. Like that's not what we're going for here.
Yeah, like one of the first thing that Aaron told me when I had my first phone call with him after I realized that I was not wiring 100K to an IG. I think the first thing I remember saying when he calls, like, tell me more about the 100K. I have to send to a king. F you. But then like when we had our second conversation after like I Googled and I'm like, oh shit, I kind of fucked that up. Was, he was saying that the idea, like, yeah, it has to be open source, again, AGPL. So, but simultaneously, like, we want there to be pride and ownership. We want people to actually, instead of just getting that dopamine kick from, oh, cool, this works. Oh, UI. Like, we want that last 25% to be there, and we want there to be pride and ownership. We want them to take pride and ownership of, like, owning the software, actually caring about it, getting to the 100% level. And one of the main things Aaron has talked about every single day is a desire to change the culture in open source to where there is that pride and ownership, where people actually go the end of it, the 100%, not just with Apache and VSFTPD and FFmpeg, but with actual consumer-facing software. Because and people say open source is winning because you have these underpinnings of the internet that are really good, but simultaneously, when it comes to a lot of this consumer-facing software, like Google and Apple won. We want there to be pride and ownership. We want the people that are programming it to have pride and ownership and actually care about making it good, care about it loading in 398 milliseconds, and like we want that stuff to matter. And above all, we want that's the simple culture of that is it seems like you're throwing money away with no plan for profitability. The simple idea that we have hired 3 engineers that are sitting here to work on this software, and like just the salary for 3 engineers, of course you're never going to make that money back if it's AGPL. I believe that's a fundamental problem with the culture, that is it is a concern, but the fact that is a concern and the fact that you saying that does not make you an irrational person is the problem with the culture that we would like to fix. Like, if we release trustworthy software, that doesn't suck, like, will you pay for it? Fixing the culture is the number one goal.
I think that kind of some of the attitude of the open source community, some of these, like most of it's really good, but like, yeah, it's they don't realize. I mean, the end goal is to have good software. And what we've wound up is with a situation where there's a lot of open source things, and Yahoo did this, like Google does this, Facebook does it. They take the open source thing and then they take it and make it into malware. But they polish it enough so that people will use it. And so kind of like a lot of, unless we can fix this fundamental problem of having like there be incentive for engineers to actually take pride in doing that instead of Google or Facebook or Apple, like we have to change the culture. And so if you're just like, oh well, let's just keep going the way we're going, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Things have gotten worse. Like our software is getting worse. So we're definitely like not just kind of like, hey, like open source, like, yeah, we're gonna just like, how can we help? No, it's like we're actually trying to change things.
I know it's a derailment, but just like since the change in the culture thing is the number one thing you care about, that needs a mention.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that as well. Like, like from the start in every release that I put in, please support us by these means. And one of those are monetary means. So I think, like we put in the work. So this is okay to ask, hey, would you like to pay for the software if it's good and if you like it? And we give you that option.
Cool. And the last one is just, what are the plans to make Immich a stable piece of software? For example, the iOS app is still a bit buggy.
Did you write this question, Zach?
We would never hire engineers that are as bad as Apple's. That's like the 7th pillar. Like the type of people that would that would say, you know what? Pin 1 on the pin 1 is going to be data. We'll put pin 43 for 59 volts, so they're all the way far apart, and then have some piece of whatever the hell decide that we're going to wrap it around so 59 volts actually winds up being right next to data. Like, we don't hire Apple engineers. We're never going to we don't like this. No offense, but like, that's like 7th pillar. Engineers must be better. We do not want to hire the people that put 59 volts next to the CPU data line. Engineering-driven company.
That is true, but I'm gonna actually, as much as I hate Apple, I'm gonna say they are actually doing really good work a lot of the time still.
I'm
and
biased.
Like, we have to aspire, and this is kind of again the open source community. Like, we have to understand how much better this stuff sometimes is than what the alternative is, and make it better. And not like, again, I'm gonna like keep picking on Matrix. We went to the Matrix at FOSDEM, and they did not once acknowledge that they were like, Discord existed or Microsoft Teams existed. They didn't even think that they needed to be better than those things. So no, we're aware that, yeah, sure, Apple does suck, but they're also good in a lot, and we have to be better than them. So
yeah, I'm mildly biased. I'll just leave it at that. Like, just a small bit, a little bit of salt.
For the iOS app, like, yeah, we in our roadmap to stable, we have like we got like a lot of refactoring we want to do in the app space. Like one of the main problems we've had with the app is that it was built like not as offline first, and then it's been like offline first support has been like kind of shoved into it, and that's caused like some problems with like maintainability and like some issues around the code base. So yeah, we need to like go back and sort some of that out.
I am dumb. I just realized I thought they were saying the iOS app is an iCloud and comparing it, like saying iCloud's iPhotos was buggy, not Image app was buggy. I just realized that. I am so sorry. Like IQ at room temperature right now. All right, that was dumb. Bye, man.
All right, before Lewis makes any more pillars, I think we can probably wrap it up there. And yeah, Aaron can have like a closing.
Oh yeah, I
closing
mean, like let's just talk about like all the stuff that I'll show FUTO. Like we have lunches. Join our chat. We've got jobs@futo.org is our email address for if you want to work with us. And again, check out all of our products: Circles, Polycentric, our keyboard, which is just called the keyboard, GrayJ. Like they're all great things. So yeah, and obviously Immich. I'm so happy to have Immich.
Yeah.
Like we would like to thank you, the community, because without your support, we wouldn't be here today. So big thankful for that. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
All right. Well,
that's all. Thanks everyone for coming, and yeah.
That's it for
We'll see
today.
you.
And as always, I hope you learned something. Actually, your catchphrase. I'm supposed to use
If you do
yours.
not master your computer will become your master.
If you do not master your computer will become your master. Now you have to do my catchphrase.
I hope you learned something.
All right. See you around.
peace.
See ya.